There are many common fears that entrepreneurs have to deal with. If we don't confront and challenge those fears will ultimately consume us. So I'm going to give you 6 fears that every entrepreneur must overcome. And then I'm going to show you how to unpack your fear. Hey dreamers and purpose seekers, in today's video, I'm going to show you 6 fears that every entrepreneur must overcome. And then I'm going to show you how to unpack your fear. Whatever your fears are right now in this moment, now is the time to take a moment to challenge your fear, to take back your control, to begin to overcome your fear so that way you can live to your full potential. Welcome to Work on Your Purpose. I'm TL Talks. This channel is for aspiring entrepreneurs just like you to help you build your confidence to start creating your business and work on your purpose. But before I get started, make sure that you tap the thumbs up button, hit the subscribe button if this is your first time to the channel, and please follow the Work on Your Purpose Instagram and Facebook groups. I got a question for you. Are you ready to unpack your fear? Unpacking your fear is a process. I'm going to take you step by step in this process so that way the next time that you're dealing with something that you fear, you can take it from a more controlled approach. Before we unpack our fear, let's talk about what fear is. Now, fear is an unpleasant emotion. We feel it all in our body, right? And our minds keep racing. We keep thinking about all these worst case scenarios. Fear is just beliefs that someone or something is dangerous, likely to cause pain or a threat. They cause us to lose focus in what we're doing, which makes us less efficient and effective in our everyday life. Now, fear has helped humankind in so many ways to become better, but it can also lead to paralysis for many of us. And we avoid doing necessary tasks that we need to do in order to achieve our goals. It's important that we really focus on why we fear something. In order for us to understand the cause of our fear, we have to unpack it. Now, fears often occur because we're afraid of making mistakes. Society, our parents, so many people have taught us from an early age that making mistakes is bad and it can lead to negative consequences. In some cases, that is true because our actions are a result from our choices. And sometimes we don't make wise choices, but every action has a consequence. So it's easy to understand that certain decisions and choices that we've made have led to certain actions and certain consequences. We want to avoid failure. We want to avoid making mistakes. However, it's important to understand that mistakes can be valuable experiences to learn from, to grow from, and to improve ourselves. Without mistakes, we wouldn't know that there was something that we needed to do better. So on one hand, we avoid mistakes because we fear being judged. We fear failure. We fear the negative consequences. But on the other end of the stick, in order for us to improve, to grow, and to learn, we need mistakes in order to make better choices. It's the mistakes that we often overlook. It's the mistakes that help us grow, that help us learn, that help us improve. I'm willing to bet that if you had the right tools, you could not only overcome your fear, but create the type of life that you desire and deserve. Deep down inside, there is a fear that is holding you back from different areas in your life. Fear can hold us back if we allow it. The good news is that you no longer have to allow it to hold you back. Fear holding you back, that's a choice. The interesting thing about fear is that fear feeds on fear. And the more that you try to avoid something that you're afraid of, the bigger and more it expands. And that anxiety grows. Unpacking your fear is all about acknowledging your fears and finding ways to move beyond those fears. There are many common fears that entrepreneurs face. If we don't confront and challenge those fears those fears will ultimately consume us. So, one of the first fears that an entrepreneur must overcome is the fear of change. Now, change of any sort is frightening. In fact, our brains are programmed to avoid change. It's unfamiliar, it's uncertain. Change, in so many ways, can be perceived as a threat to your comfort. Fear of change makes us anxious about the future. The reality of it is that we cannot avoid change. Change is inevitable. And no matter what stage you're at in your business, you'll have to learn to find ways to embrace change. Number two, fear of failure. Now, failure often seems like the worst. It's like the worst thing that could ever happen. And when we think of failure, we think of unbearable embarrassment. But fear of failure is often rooted in our pride. Most people, if they fail, they believe that all of the people who doubted them will be right. The people who told them that you would never be successful in business, or business is too risky, or your idea isn't really good enough for the market. Deep down in the corner of their minds, they wonder, is this person right? Am I going to fail? If I'm going to fail, then why try? And that's the pattern of thinking. Think of something that makes you afraid of failure. And then I want you to ask yourself, in 10 years from now, will you regret not taking on this opportunity? And then I want you to ask, if you fail, what's the worst that will happen? What is one of your fears of failure? In 10 years from now, will you regret not taking the opportunity? What this does is it helps you challenge your fear, and it gives you more insight, because now you can start developing a plan B in case things don't work out. A lot of times people are afraid of failure because they don't have anything else figured out. Life happens and things happen out of your control. So while you're focusing on that plan A, what happens if plan A is no more? Challenging your fear allows you the opportunity to develop a plan. Because when you receive the answers, when you think about the answers to these questions, it's going to give you more insight into your fear. So now you can develop a plan B in case the worst case fear comes true. If that doesn't work out, you can always try something else. Number three, fear of business expenses. It's one thing to dream big about developing a successful business. It's another to put your finances and savings on the line. Running a successful business can carry some unexpected and large business expenses. There's almost no way you can move your business forward without putting money into it. Now, some people, they put their money into entertainment. They put their money into clothes and other things. Where are you putting your money? If you've been thinking about starting a business and you're worried about the business expenses, even a low overhead, low cost business will eventually need some type of funds infused into it. And this is so you can help with the professional development of the business. So committing to expenses can be a risk, but unless you're willing to invest in yourself, in your dream, in your business is going to quickly plateau. Overcoming the fear of having business expenses is something that you're going to have to work on, because in order to operate your business, you're going to have to throw something into it to invest in it and help it grow. And maybe it would be a good idea to meet with a financial planner so that way you can figure out and plan out how you are going to allocate funds to your business. Maybe there's some extra spending that you can shave off of one category and focus more into your business. Maybe there's one area in your life where you spend more money on unnecessary things that you can put back into your business. So you want to go over that and build a plan based off of that. Number four, fear of taking risk. Fear of taking risk. Every time we take a risk on something, we're putting ourselves and our business or reputation on the line. A risk can pay off with amazing benefits and success, or it can lead to a downward spiral of failure. But there's an important difference between unmitigated risk and thoughtful or calculated risk. Now, dangerous risk takers are gamblers, right? They're betting on something to happen that's never been done. With calculated risk, you have to strategize and carefully assess your goal as you are going through the process. This is the key to every success, taking calculated risk. Number 5, the fear of being wrong. Most entrepreneurs are competitive by nature. So it makes sense that for many of us, fear of making mistakes or seeming less than perfect would be a huge fear. Overcoming this fear requires you to tackle it head on and to learn to be comfortable with the fact that everyone, even you, will get things wrong. Think about your track record. Up to this point in your life, have you been 100% accurate on everything that you've tried and done? No, of course not. Nobody's perfect. In order for us to improve or enhance ourselves, we need mistakes in order to grow. So that way we can look for what to improve. We can look for what we need in order to help us grow to our full potential. And now the final fear that every entrepreneur must overcome. Number 6, the fear of not being good enough. Self-doubt is a dream killer. It's a mood killer. It's a confidence killer. But you can overcome it. We know our flaws and our shortcomings. We know them better than anybody. But sometimes a dark fear lingers in the back of our minds. It just hovers over us like a dark cloud, right? And we constantly replay this thought over and over again in our minds throughout different areas of our lives in different moments. And for some people, this becomes a deeply embedded subconscious fear. People like this feel like they're not competent as everybody else. And they believe that no matter what they do, how hard they work, they'll always be inadequate. And when a person feels inadequate, they question their abilities. And they're constantly striving for unattainable levels of perfectionism. What I have learned to understand about the fear of not being good enough, because I struggled with that as a child. Growing up, I was the only child. I didn't have any siblings for support. I didn't have any siblings to get my back, when things got tough in school. And I would always get teased, just like everybody else, or most people. We have that whole experience in school growing up where we're bullied for just the way that we talk or the way that we look or the way that we dress. And I'm no different than you, unless you were the bully, because I wasn't a bully. Well, maybe I was at some point. I think I was so tired of getting bullied, I became a bully after a while. But anyway, my point is that when I was a kid, I got bullied, just like everybody else. And it hammered my self-esteem and my confidence. But what I've grown to know about the feeling of being good enough is that when we set ourselves up to succeed, and what I mean is that when we have a vision, we set a goal, and we hold ourselves accountable to achieving that goal by taking incremental steps, baby steps, one step at a time, reassessing, keep it moving, reassess, keep it moving, right? When we do that and we hold ourselves accountable, we accomplish the things that we say we're going to do. What this does is it builds self-trust. And when we build the self-trust, we're basically saying to ourselves that I trust you to do what you say you're going to do for you. And the more that you program yourself to do that in any area of your life, it's going to help you build your confidence. And that fear of not being good enough, it'll no longer exist because you'll trust yourself. You won't doubt yourself. So, those are the 6 fears that every entrepreneur must overcome. Whatever your fears are right now in this moment, now is the time to take them on and begin to challenge them, to begin to reprogram your mind and your responses to how you respond to fear. Is it the fear of failure? Is it the fear of change? Is it the fear of not being good enough? I want you to think about one of the fears that I just spoke about. And I want you to take a moment to just slow down for a second. Get comfortable for a few moments. Only do this if you are not putting yourself in danger. Like if you're driving, then you don't want to do this particular part of the exercise. Wait until the next step. Take a few deep breaths in through your nose, out through your mouth. We're going to do this. Let's do it 5 times. Ready? On the count of 3. You're going to close your eyes. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in through the nose. Slow, steady, breathe in. Breathe in, breathe in. All right. Breathe out. Breathe out through your mouth. Slow, steady. Allow all the air to expel out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Allow yourself to just sit for just a moment. Your eyes closed. Focus on one of those fears. Think about a time when you feared failure. You feared not being good enough. Or you feared change. And as you sit and you reflect, think about the feeling that you experience when you think about this fear. What is the sensation going through your body? Do you feel your heart racing? Do you feel tension in your shoulders, in your neck? Do you feel like your thoughts are racing? Just take it all in for a moment. Nothing's happening to you. You're just sitting there. You're just reflecting. You're unpacking your fear. All right, now go ahead and take a deep breath, and I want you to open your eyes when you exhale. Breathe in. Breathe out. Open your eyes, open your eyes. I'm feeling a sensation of complete calmness, stillness. I feel lighter inside my body. I'm experiencing a sense of peace. The objective to this part of unpacking your fear is to help you get into a space of calmness, of stillness, a state of relaxed concentration. Because in order to understand your fear, you have to take a step back to allow yourself to see it from a different perspective. Oftentimes, when we think about something that we fear, we get caught up in the moment. And it's as if this fear becomes us because we feel the sensations in our bodies. We feel our heart beating fast. We feel the tension and tightness in our shoulders or in our neck. We have racing thoughts. So in order to begin to unpack your fear, it's important that you take a moment to slow down and take some deep breaths to get yourself in a calm, more relaxed state. The next part to unpacking your fear is to observe. Observe and recognize the fearful thought that's racing through your mind. Think about where the attention lies. What are you concentrating on most about this thought or this experience right now in this exact moment? Ask yourself, what is it exactly that I'm reacting to? Then pay attention to any physical sensations within your body. Another important question to answer is, what will happen if this fear actually were to come true? If the thing you feared most were to actually come true, what would happen next? What would you do? Next, you want to place the event in perspective. How can you view this fear differently? Imagine you're approaching this from an outsider's point of view. Can you think of another way to interpret your fear? What would you say to someone else who asked you how to conduct themselves or how to overcome this fear? Challenge your thoughts and feelings. Are they facts, or is it just a mental projection of the future? You can also think about if this situation will really matter in a few days from now. Unpacking your fear is a process. Unpacking your fear is all about taking a moment to stop, take a deep breath to center yourself, and then observe what's going on, to challenge your emotions and your feelings in the moment, to ask important questions, to clarify, to place events in perspective. If you were someone else, how would you view this? Is there another way to view it? And then thinking about if it really matters in the long term. When you practice techniques like this of questioning, challenging, or even reframing unhelpful beliefs and fears, you will build so much confidence in how you go about tackling problems and situations going forward. You'll be able to recognize unhelpful beliefs and fears. One thing that you can begin to do is to create a journal. Write down the activating trigger, the thing that triggered your fear. Pay attention to the behaviors that follow and the consequences that cause you to feel overwhelmed or stressed or anxiety because of this fear. Think about what causes you to feel overwhelmed or stressed or anxiety about this fear. And then come up with new ways to see the fear. Look at things from a different perspective. Empower yourself with empowering or positive statements that you can use to soothe yourself. Positive and empowering statements are statements that you say to yourself to encourage yourself. You could be, I am confident in being me. I love myself. I am smart. I am funny. I am successful. So these positive affirmations can change your state of mind. They can help build your confidence and self-esteem and help align you with the success that you desire. Make sure you subscribe, like, comment, and share this video. If you found it of value, great, let me know. Leave me a comment. Also, give me some comments with topics on what you would like for me to cover going forward. I want to help you be the best version of you and help you along your journey. So talk to me. Let me know what you would like for me to cover so I can do a video to help you. Until next time, keep pursuing your dreams and work on your purpose.